On Thursday, the Biden administration announced sweeping changes to the asylum process in an attempt to address the border crisis and pave the way for bipartisan immigration reform. The new rule was jointly issued by the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice and will effectively permit asylum officers to decide whether or not asylum status should be granted. Stay tuned to find out what this new rule is and why it is likely the first step to meaningful immigration reform. And if this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications for regular immigration news updates. So what is the new rule announced by the Biden administration on Thursday? According to USCIS, the rule authorizes trained asylum officers to meet with asylum seekers at the border and make a decision whether or not to grant them asylum without involving immigration judges. Unaccompanied children are exempt from the rule, and individuals who are denied asylum will then be referred for a removal proceeding before an immigration judge. The Biden administration claims that this will reduce the average case from 5 years to 6 months, granting parole status to those who qualify and quickly removing those who don't. Immigration advocates have objected, claiming this new rule is essentially expedited removal and that it will prevent asylum seekers from securing legal representation or gathering evidence in support of their case. Border officials have been apprehending more than 13,000 undocumented migrants per day, and the immigration court backlog now has more than 1.7 million cases that would take 4 years to process, even if no new cases were added. This escalating situation is also contributing to the border crisis narrative that Republicans are using to block all attempts at immigration reform, which could cost Democrats control over Congress in the 2022 midterms this November. So how does this new asylum rule relate to efforts at immigration reform? When President Biden first took office, there were several bipartisan immigration reform bills under consideration, such as the DREAM Act, co-sponsored by Dick Durbin and Lindsey Graham. But when a record number of migrants started arriving in February of last year, Republicans insisted Congress shouldn't consider immigration reform until Biden regains control of the border. The Biden administration attempted to pass immigration reform without Republican support by using the budget reconciliation process, but the Build Back Better bill never passed the Senate and will likely never will with any immigration provisions. That means President Biden has to find a way to manage the influx of migrants if he wants to deliver on his promise for immigration reform, and this asylum rule is likely the first step. The Democrats also know that the Republicans plan to use the situation at the border as their primary message in the upcoming 2022 midterm elections, so they need to do something now if they want to maintain control of Congress. So what do you think? Will this new asylum rule be the right thing to do? Will it pave the way for bipartisan immigration reform? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Democrats are still trying to pass immigration reform through Congress despite Republican opposition. Dick Durbin recently introduced the Relief Act in an attempt to eliminate the visa backlog. I'll include a link to that video here. I will also continue to bring you additional immigration news as it's available, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications if you have not done so yet. Click here to watch this video next, and I will see you there.